Welcome. Today, we are going to completely change how you look at the animal kingdom. We're tossing out that tired old predator versus prey storyline to uncover the wild's hidden economy. What we're diving into today is an intricate, mind-blowing web built on shrewd, cross-species business transactions. As you'll see in this explainer, survival out there isn't just about being the strongest. It's about knowing how to make a deal. But before we get into the specific contracts, we really need to define the driving force behind all of this: mutualism. I want you to notice that phrase, survival advantage. In the human world, businesses trade money, right? Well, in nature, the currency is life itself. We're talking food, shelter, defense, hygiene. When two totally different species actually figure out how to trade these currencies with each other, they unlock evolutionary superpowers that literally neither could achieve on their own. To make sense of all these complex deals, here's our roadmap representing the different departments of nature's economy. We'll be hitting 1. Nature's unlikely bodyguards, 2. Living weapons and armor, 3. The cleaning crews, 4. Insect farmers and fortresses, 5. Myths and strange bedfellows, and wrapping up with 6. The ultimate evolutionary alliances. All right, jumping right into Category 1, Nature's unlikely bodyguards, seeing for the blind. Now check out that speed, 100 kilometers per hour. The pistol shrimp generates a shockwave with its defensive claw snap that is so fast it actually stuns fish. It's an absolutely incredible weapon. Plus, the shrimp is a master digger, working constantly to maintain this perfect burrow in the sand. But there is a massive problem here. The shrimp is nearly blind. Above ground, all that digging power means absolutely nothing if a predator just sneaks up on you. So what's the solution? You bring in a partner. Enter the Goby fish. The Goby has incredibly sharp eyesight, but is totally defenseless and couldn't dig a home to save its life. As this setup brilliantly illustrates, the shrimp keeps one antenna physically resting on the Goby at all times. The very second the Goby spots danger, it flicks its tail in a specific pattern. The shrimp feels it and boom, instantly retreats into the shared burrow, with the Goby right behind it. The blind digger and the watchful guardian. Apart, they're easy prey. Together, they've built the perfect safe house. Moving on to Section 2, Living Weapons and Armor, Hiring Mercenaries. To understand our next set of contracts, you have to understand the weaponry at play here, specifically these lethal, paralyzing harpoons called nematosts. Sea anemones use these to kill pretty much anything that touches them. Most fish die within seconds of brushing against those tentacles. But in nature's economy, a deadly weapon is really just a business opportunity waiting to happen. What is super fascinating here is how different clients utilize this exact same weapon. While the clownfish uses a thick mucus layer to basically trick the anemone into not firing its harpoons so it can secure a safe home, look at the hermit crab. It actually picks up the anemone and attaches it to its own shell for a 360-degree venomous weapon system. And get this, when the crab outgrows its shell, it carefully peels the anemone off and moves it to the new one. The anemone gets paid with a free ride to fresh feeding grounds. But honestly, the boxer crab is my absolute favorite. This tiny 3-centimeter predator literally arms itself with living flails. It holds a tiny anemone in each claw to punch at approaching octopuses. And incredibly, if it loses one of these gloves, it just rips the remaining anemone in half and the anemone simply regenerates into 2. They'll even steal them from rival crabs in turf wars. It is a spectacular visual of outsourcing your own defense. Let's move on to Section 3, the cleaning crews, nature's spas. That staggering number represents exactly how many client fish, and yes, that includes deadly sharks and moray eels, a single 10-centimeter cleaner wrasse can service in just one day. Think about that. Imagine a tiny fish swimming directly into the mouth of an apex predator and coming out completely unharmed. This is the cornerstone of the reef economy. Larger fish voluntarily line up at these cleaning stations, waiting their turn for a tiny wrasse to pick off dead skin and parasites. The bizarre nature of this cleaning economy forces some seriously strict rules. The wrasse must maintain a pristine reputation. If it accidentally bites healthy tissue, clients will literally refuse to return. Then you have the remora, hitchhiking on a shark with a suction grip that can withstand 30 times its body weight. On land, the massive warthog willingly becomes completely vulnerable, just lying down in the dirt so a pack of mongooses can swarm it to eat ticks. And finally, the oxpecker walking this crazy line between helpful alarm system and blood-drinking parasite on the rhino. So why does all this matter? Because the drive to be clean and parasite-free is so powerful, it literally overrides an apex predator's most basic instinct to kill. Up next is Section 4, Insect Farmers and Fortresses, Agriculture Before Humans. We are now escalating from simple hygiene to literal agriculture and real estate management, millions of years before humans even existed. Ants treat aphids exactly like dairy cows, securing a renewable, sugary food source through absolute control. Aphids drink plant sap and excrete a sugary liquid called honeydew. Instead of just eating the aphids, the ants figured out how to farm them. They guard their herds, they milk them by stroking them with their antennae, they even build underground winter barns for them. But look at step 4. It's not all sunshine. They will literally clip the wings off the aphids so their livestock can't fly away. It is highly organized industrial-scale farming executed entirely by insects. In this case, the plant itself acts as the employer, paying for a living fortress in sugar and housing just to survive the harsh herbivore landscape. The acacia tree actually grows hollow thorns explicitly for the ants to live in and creates specialized protein snacks on its leaves just to pay them. In return, if a giraffe bites a leaf, hundreds of ants swarm out and sting its face. The ants even do landscaping, pruning away competing vines from the base. And here is the craziest part. Strip the ants away, and the tree actually dies within months. It is entirely dependent on its hired army. All right, Section 5, Myths and Strange Bedfellows, the Truth About Partnerships. Let's disrupt the flow a bit and look at the oddities, starting with probably the most famous animal partnership in history. You've almost certainly heard the story of the tiny bird walking into the apex predator's mouth to clean its teeth, right? We've seen fish clean the mouths of sharks and eels, so this seems completely plausible. But we have to ask, is this actually biological fact? The reality? This 2,400-year-old tale is likely entirely fabricated. The Greek historian Herodotus wrote about it thousands of years ago, and people just kept repeating it like a game of telephone. But in our modern era of constant filming and observation, there is zero verified footage of a plover cleaning a crocodile's teeth. Crocodiles just sit with their mouths open on land to release heat. It's just thermal regulation. The bird dentist is a complete myth, which is a great reminder that we have to rely on observation, not just legend. However, what sounds like a myth but is absolutely real is this Amazonian alliance. Biologists couldn't believe it at first. This massive Colombian lesser black tarantula, big enough to eat a bird, allows a tiny humming frog to live in its nest, sometimes right between its venomous fangs. Why? Because the frog eats tiny ants that are too small for the spider to fight off, but are totally deadly to the spider's eggs. The spider gets critical pest control, the frog gets an impenetrable fortress. The spider has even been seen picking the frog up, examining it, and gently putting it back down. Unbelievable. Now, to properly classify our next relationship, we need to understand commensalism. Mutualism is a two-way street, but commensalism? That's a one-sided hitchhike. Take the tiny 2-centimeter emperor shrimp. It clings to a sea cucumber, which is covered in a toxic compound. The shrimp basically rides it like a slow-moving poisonous tank across the seafloor, eating the dust the cucumber kicks up. The sea cucumber gets absolutely nothing out of this transaction, but it also isn't harmed. It's just a brilliant little hack of the system by the shrimp. Finally, Section 6, the ultimate evolutionary alliances, safety in numbers. Let's scale things all the way up to the climax of our explainer, massive ecosystem-level cooperation. That massive figure, 2.2 million, represents the combined herd of wildebeest and zebras migrating across 1,800 kilometers of the Serengeti together. They aren't just tolerating each other's presence, they fundamentally need each other to survive this journey. These massive-scale alliances prove that surviving the wild isn't always about outcompeting others. Often, it's about moving as a unified wall of cooperation. Look at how they lock together. The zebra has the eyesight, the wildebeest has the hearing and smell. Together, they form a sensory net that predators simply can't penetrate. When they hit a river, their combined numbers are so vast that crocodile attacks become a mere statistical blip. But maybe the most mind-blowing alliance happens in Laguna, Brazil. For over 140 years, wild dolphins have actively herded fish toward human fishermen. The dolphin slaps its head as a signal, the humans throw the nets. The humans get a massive catch, and the nets disorient the fish just enough for the dolphins to gorge themselves. And this isn't trained behavior. Mother dolphins teach their calves, and older fishermen teach the younger ones. They've been passing down this interspecies hunting tactic for generations. I want to leave you with this incredible thought on that human-dolphin connection. If two species, separated by 90 million years of evolution, can literally learn to communicate and trade with one another, what other hidden economies are operating right under our noses? Nature isn't just a battlefield. It's a vast interconnected marketplace, trading in the absolute ultimate currency of survival. Think about that the next time you step outside. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and stay curious.